challenges tonight. Internet went down. I kid you not. Internet went down. This thing might not be working. It's not. It's a wire thing. Well, it's the interface. All this stuff you don't need to know. But got a good one for you tonight. Hopefully, yeah. I feel it's going to be a good one tonight. A good conversation. It'll be a conversation, not a COVID-sation. Goodness me, seriously though, when did COVID become it's like I'm going to literally chuck a pile of adjectives at this. Dogmatic, hey buddy, you're alright Doug, how are you? So right, let's get comments up. There we go. Top chat, live chat, all messages visible. There we go. But hey, Dougie. So yeah, like I said, I'm 6 minutes late. Personal victory for me, because it was. To say it out loud, you're like, yeah, all right, you're lying. But no, Internet went down. I did have a British Gas engineer in here on, when did he come? This Jack bloke, lovely guy actually, very, he was a big unit actually, he's bigger than me, just naturally a big burly guy, but he fitted me with smart meters, and then subsequently found out that although I'm eligible for smart meters and I'll have better accurate electric and gas meter readings from this point forth with the British Gas app, there is no signal, and it's often proven in this live stream. So I obviously rely on Wi-Fi. I'm going to get a booster. So literally at 8:48, with 12 minutes to go tonight, I'm thinking, yes, you've got a good episode lined up. I took 3 or 4 days off last week. I won't go into detail. I was not in a good place. Ain't gonna lie about that. It went dark in Justin Lat. It went dark, but I'm fine. And I feel good. I feel motivated. I'm loving the gym. I'm literally feeling like a child again. Do you know, he did, Doug? He did use my toilet. How do you know? I'm not even, you know me, mate. I've got there's no margin in this live stream or in me to go, oh yeah, I'm going to exaggerate for a bit of artistic licensing. Everything that leaves my pie hole is as it was, as in that shit happened. He didn't go for number 2s, he went for number 1s. And of course, because I live alone, as you know, although my flat is immaculate, it really is immaculate and I'm very proud of it, I've got nothing but time on my hands. So in terms of, I've always been fastidiously clean and hygienic anyway, with my own body, with my surroundings, my belongings, you know that, Doug. It's like I've never been a dirty human, with, oh, Justin's a scruff and he's dirty and his things are dirty and he doesn't look after things. I'm the other way. I'm very overprotective of people's property, my gear, my body, my stuff. The flat's immaculate. And I thought, this guy, he wanted to go for a wee. Yeah, he probably knocked one out and spaffed the mirror. Of course, the one thing that hasn't been done from a DIY aspect is I've got one of those really colourful toilet seats. Doesn't bother me in the slightest, because I mean, me, myself and I. But the hinges where there are 2 types, in fact there are 3 types of loose seat. There's the hydraulic types, and you've got like a damper effect. You tighten it up and it does. Anyway, there's several types of loose seats you can buy. Suffice it to say, the loose seat I've got is an Amazon job. It's like a 30 quid one. It wasn't cheap. It's like a colourful, multicoloured thing. Anyway, it broke months ago. Even though I've lost 4.5 stone, purely because I'd been sat on it, as I invariably do, and this won't surprise you at all, though. I sit on it for, Justin doesn't sit there for 30 minutes. Justin sits there, my warm-up is 48 minutes to 52 minutes, precisely. And then when the lower body has got, bear in mind, obviously I've got little to no feeling in my lower body, as you know. So it's quite danger zone for House to sit on the loo, because I've got these dermatomes anyway. So, you know, you could put a carving knife into my adductor, for example, and I'm like, is it in yet? You know, so I've got a lot of leg numbness. So I will, through watching a Rogan podcast or Lex Fridman or whoever, you know, I'm watching a lot of Tim Dillon recently, who's recently got COVID, bless him. I'll do an hour on the loo, sometimes 90 minutes on the loo. I'm like, you better try and stand up now, House. And of course, there is no strength to stand, so it's on the towel rail I go. So the loo seat's broken. This Jack, British Gas engineer, I was like, don't worry about the seat, mate. Don't worry. And I heard him take it off. Yeah, no, 48 minutes, mate. That's a warm up for me. That's a warm up. That's me just getting into a podcast. So yeah, it's just I'm down to everything for a reason. Everything for a reason. So anyway, sorry. It's British Gas that said to me, you're eligible for smart meters. So who am I to say, oh, I don't want those? You know I've been getting overcharged. And there's been quite a whopping, well, not whopping, but you know, more than a few hundred quid outstanding on the account. And I know, I mean, I know what my usage is. You know, I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh yeah, I'm going to sit indoors with everything up full. You know, I'm the other way. So, you know, they're like, oh, you owe us $860. I'm like, I think you'll find that I owe you nothing like $860. You know, you need to be removing £600 off that number. Hence the smart meters. So they're actually going to zero me and start again. And he took a meter reading, and he said to me, kind of like off record, he goes, yeah, you've been seriously getting overcharged. I'm like, yeah, I know. So these will be a welcome addition, but of course I've got no signal here. That they don't rely on. Well, they do rely on 3/4G. We know 5G is fiction in '99, but I said it back in 2019, when it was May 2019 when the 5G thing came out. And I remember saying to fellow geeks at the time, look, everyone needs to calm down about 5G, because with my own research, you know, we are 5 to 8 years, seriously, 5 to 8 years, and that was me saying that in 2019, 5 to 8 years from 5G maturity. Lo and behold, you know, we're barreling into 2022 now, and Doug, you know, you tell me, you look at LTE, you know, long-term evolution on your phone, it's still 3-4G, most likely 4G, and you know, how often do you look at your phone and go, yeah, look at that 5G signal, just rage? No, not at all, not at all. And even in parts of, like, you only got to watch very prolific, high-end YouTubers, you know, who have got 11 to 15 million followers, you know, the really big YouTubers, and they're like, yeah, I'm in downtown New York, I'm in, you know, like somewhere really good where there's supposedly loads. It's like me going tomorrow, because I've got to go tomorrow to Guys. They bumped me on from last week. I was cancelled last week, so I'm in Guys tomorrow. And I mention Guys because, like New York, there's certain spots in London, LA, New York, where they're real 5G boasting areas. You know, like you'll go online and be like, what are the most prolific 5G zones in the world? And it'll be like Hong Kong, Miami, New York, London, LA. You know, I mean, it's a real 5G brag. And the reason I mention Guys is because obviously Guys is at the base of the Shard, and the Shard is a London boasting point for having a great 5G signal. Bullshit. Because in fact, I might film it tomorrow for shits and giggles. I'll go there tomorrow, I'll be like, oh yeah, let's just do it. And I'll turn like that, the phone, and it will be gone. I could literally do this and go, yeah, it's gone, and it's gone, and it's gone. You know, it is that weak. So the 5G thing's bullshit, but suffice to say, I've got no adequate signal here for the smart meters to run. So they're going to do a boost, they're going to come back. And yeah, it is weird when a stranger's in your house, obviously maintaining social distancing, yada yada yada. And I was like, yeah, you go for a piss, mate. But that was Friday. Stuff's happened. Fuck a duck. I guess one of the things about this streaming business is you know, I say it often enough, so I'd better stick to my guns. You know, like, yeah, I, Justin House, will not lie. I, Justin House, will not, I will not tell fibs. And it's like, it feels like a scene out of a film. Harry Potter, I will not lie, I will not tell fibs. And I had, yeah, shit went dark. Shit went dark. Probably I took 3 or 4 days off streaming because I didn't want to stream. I didn't want to stream, and so number one, acknowledge that, admit that, don't make a song and dance about it. Just keep yourself busy. So I went to the forest. I went to the beach. Yeah, it went bad. It went bad. But, and you know this, Doug, I've had a good 3 to 5 months where, due to A, clearing bills from last year and my own behaviour, where, you know, no one, it's like, oh, who spent my money? You know, if I've gone out and bought a OnePlus phone, you know, or a Google, I've done that. No one's put a gun to my head and go, Justin, why did you spend £800? You absolute prick. You can't do that, mate. You don't have those funds. Obviously, I can't do that in one hit, but I'll allocate, put it away, allocate, put it away. New phone coming out, must buy. No, don't buy it. Go for your contract phones, and it's part of handling depression, it's part of stopping the self-reward, it's part of, as you saw with my X6 purchasing, financing, it's a sticky plaster at best, you know, unless you've got thousands in your account, you know, like oh, I've got a spare 30k, I've got a spare 50k, you know, unless you are one of those guys or girls that has literally funds to spare, where, you know, dumping £1,000 on a smartphone is like dropping a 10p coin, or booking a holiday for £2,000 is a breeze, you know, and that's not me. And you saw it in the past, Doug, you know, with the X6, the X6M, you know, let me spend £900 a month on a car I can't possibly afford, and we saw where that went. And even sort of, not this year, but I've paid the price this year. We worried he might come into yeah, well, it was weird. He was here for a couple of hours actually, but he's working through the kitchen window. Come on to me, yeah. He could have probably, I don't know. I'm actually getting. Fuck it. I'm gonna tell you a little story. It's just. I was telling my friend, you know, my lovely friend up north. Why do I do an accent? Up north, Justin. But my friend up north, and then I was texting him today, and I said, look, I did a naughty thing today. And although I endeavour to not swear on this live stream, I did call a fellow member of the public in a petrol station queue. I'll just tell you like it was. I called him a cunt. Like, not under my breath. No. I was like, proper, like, I gave it full on Justin House, age 25 again. And that's really rare. I mean, you know, I'm 50 in January, for goodness sake. You know, my days of being like a bit of a lad, you know, a bit of a whatever. You know, that's 23, 25 years ago, isn't it? It's a while ago. You know, where I was, whatever, living a fruity life. And what it was, I've got probably 10 or 12 lanyards from the NHS, and they're official NHS ones. They're very well made actually, saying on one side it says, actually, oh, I've got, yeah, there you go, it's quick. I've got a spare one here. So it says that I'm exempt, and then on the other side, I said these are nice quality ones that you've got the whole. So yeah, I'm exempt from the face thingy, right? So I've got like, they give me like 12 of these. Actually, I have noticed a trend. People have been buying the fake ones on Amazon and just wearing them. But anyway, out of courtesy, I wear one, and I have what do you call it? A necky, tubey thingy, whatever thing. I do it because I know other people are like, where's your mask? You know, other people are pricks, and I do it to eliminate a problem. So because I'm going to Guy's tomorrow, I've gone to M&S BP state, you know, the M&S BP collaboration thing. Gone to the gas station, fill up the car to prepare for tomorrow. actually bought a roast chicken because they're £3.80 at M&S, which is really, really good. And I'm in the queue, and I paid, you know, and I'm about to go. I just put on my card, and this guy was like, "Which one is it?" He just said to me, "Which one is it?" And there's like 4 or 5 guys behind me, a couple of hairy ass sort of Dorset Council workers in high vises, you know. You know, because there's quite some sort of burly chaps down here, you know, the road diggers and stuff, you know, all sort of like bloody big bright tans, you know. And I was aware that I could feel a crowd behind me. And he goes, well, you know, a bit sarky. This is I say he was a kid. He was probably 4 or 5 years older than me, actually. But he was not didn't have much presence to him, you know. And of course, when you're behind a behind perspex glass, and you're serving the public, it's a bit of empowerment, isn't it? It's a bit of, you know, the public are queuing for me, and I'll work my cash register at my pace, and I'll make them wait. And look at this prick, you know, with a lanyard on, you know, saying this, you know, and you know, this neck thing I wear, you know, just to cover up my face covering. So I'm going overboard. And he goes, well, which one was it? And it threw me. I was like, sorry. And he goes, well, which one are you? Are you exempt? Are you a mask wearer? And I said, oh, and I was really like smiley Justin, you know, like, ooh, you know, gormless twat that I am. And I was like, I said, I do it for other people's benefit. I was all shruggy, you know how I go, Doug. I'm all like, you know, Mr. Apologetic, you know, let me apologise for my own personal inhalation of oxygen. And I was all like, no, yeah, you know, I'm all like this. I said, no, it's just other people's benefit for courtesy, really. I said, but I am exempt. And any normal person would have gone, oh, cool, man. You know, next, you know what I mean? Just any like you or I, Doug, any normal human being would have gone, sweet, you know, cool, whatever, it's bothered, you know, or not even ask. And he's like, why? And it just spun me. And I'm now aware there's probably 5 people behind me. And I went, sorry, you know, and I stuttered. It threw me. He goes, why? I said, mate, I said, I'm medically exempt, okay? Just trust me. I said, but this is me being overly. And he went, doesn't make sense, does it? And I thought, wow, this is really happening. This is really happening. And he wasn't doing it like a Benny Hill thing. He wasn't trying to be like Gervais. You know, it was almost like a Gervais sketch. And then time slowed down. It's so weird. So I just did like a little cursory on these, and you know, I could hear a few sort of tuts behind me and a giggle. And I was like, fuck, you know, so we're now like in reality, we're like 8 seconds deep. You know how time works in a real life situation. It feels like half a minute, but probably like 7 or 8 seconds of actual content time has happened. And I went, you're some sort of cunt, aren't you? It just came out. It just came out. And I didn't go cunt. I went cunt. Like that. I just went, you're some sort of cunt. And then I did a little delay and went, aren't you? And it just, number one, I noticed I went back to Essex, London speak. I dropped my nice Dorsetshire accent, like, hello, I'm Justin House, pleased to meet you. You know, I dropped all that, and I sort of went back to, aren't you? You know, you're some sort of cunt. And, you know, like, it's devastating when it's like, the best example would be like Ray Winston. If you, and I know, again, I try to not swear on this live stream, but if you say to someone, you're a cunt, it doesn't really, it hasn't got that resonance. But when you go, you're a cunt, and you drop the tss, you know, and I just did, I said, you're some sort of cunt, aren't you? Like that. That's what I did, my inflection. I went, aren't you? Like that. And he just sat paralysed. He went fucking grey. He went pewter. He went white like he's seen a ghost. And then literally, I'd say, I mean, there was literally like one woman, like sort of school mum, like sort of regular fluffy head, sort of hippie mum, and then these hairy ass high vis Dorset road diggers, you know, these workers, and they're just like the whole queue was like, whoa, just, you know, literally. And this is the great thing, because I said, it's a long story in it, but I ended up texting it to Nin, and he was like, yeah, nice one, what a tosser. And I didn't steam in. I didn't say, oh, you're a job's worth. But that was my entire offloading was you're some sort of cunt, aren't you? I did an about face, and off I went, you know, and much to the amusement of the ever growing queue behind me. But he deserved it, because I've gone in there, the pacifist, the pacifier I am, Lopbridoo, Sesame Street, Big Bird, Justin House, hello, I'm so harmless, and there's still the nice takeaway about this very long, convoluted story is I drove down the road pissing myself and I felt about 28 again. I thought, that's how you drop 21 years, mate. You have a go at someone who deserves it. Not that I'm a violent chap, and not being funny, the last thing I want to do these days is to have altercations with anyone because, I'd likely get hurt. But he felt safe. He felt as safe as he probably does online because, he is behind perspex. There's CCTV everywhere. He's working for BP MS, the whole MS BP uniforms they wear. It's Dorset, it's a nice area. You've only got to look at the forecourt to see people driving, the shittest car was mine. Do you know what I mean? The shittest car was the XC40. It's like Jag, Range, Jag, BM, Merc, Jag, Aston, Porsche, Aston, Range. It's that sort of area. The occasional Skoda, but an Octavia, a really good one. It's people have got some money down there, and it's just near Sandbanks Pool. It's not far. So my point being is that it felt funny to me. It felt funny for me to zone out, to put myself back in Essex, back in Croydon, back in that sort of like, yeah, you fucking, I'll end you. Just like, yeah, get you. It was just funny. It did him no harm. Hopefully he won't pry at the next member of the public, although I suspect he probably hasn't sunk in. But it's a long story. It's probably an anticlimactic story to hear that that's all I did was to go, you're some sort of cunt. I got a laugh, I got the crowd laughing, and I just went down the road, great sunny day, on my way to the gym, chuckling heartily at my performance. The reality is that the whole thing probably took about 12 to 14 seconds, do you know what I mean, to actually go from number 8 please, you know what I mean, that's the pump I had. I can't even remember what it was, £28 something, like number 8 please, to him saying, oh, why you got both on, mate, and I just thought, you're going to get that, mate, you're going to fucking have that. And it was good, and I just literally thought, yeah, you're fucking not dead yet, mate, you're all right. Had a blinding workout, went to the gym, yeah, because you do have a workout at the gym, and it ended up just doing, some Romanian deadlifts, some dumbbell deadlifts, single arm, single leg dumbbell stuff, and just doing shit, just, again, where I've done, I think it's 4 stone, 10 pounds now, I'm just moving better in the gym, and I can bend, I'm not being funny, I can now put the backs of my hands on the floor. Now, I'm not being funny, that's with a stiff knee, by the way, a straight knee. I've not done that since '98. So, the last time I was, in many ways, it's not really a great feat for a guy like me because I've got long arms. I'm relatively bendy at the hip flexor, but I have got a spine full of metal, and I'm able to get the flexibility back and put the back of my hands on the floor. I made a 10-hour, 10-minute playlist recently on Spotify. I'm preferring Spotify to iTunes, although I run both. There's a recent thing I found out that, silly me, you can run iTunes and Spotify on an Android. Obviously, you could do on Apple too, but anyway, I recently was neglecting iTunes, but I use both. And I just find the overlap, 8, 10, 12 second mixing overlap from Spotify when you're blending one song into the next on a playlist. And if your tastes are as eclectic as mine, you're doing I think it's now a 10-hour, 40-minute playlist because I've just got such a good memory for music. So yeah, it was all good, and I don't know, I just felt solid. What was the other thing I was going to say? Gosh, what a boring life! What a boring life! Damn it! It was oh yeah, actually this will hopefully interest you. Let's have a look at any comments. Why is it not, hang on a minute, hang on, what, all messages are visible. Sorry, just making sure, Okay, no, we're good. We're still live. We're still live. 25 minutes in nearly. Yeah, so malfunction tonight. Internet went. This mic, meh. I think it's the interface thing. It's still me not tuning this into GarageBand properly. It really isn't hard. It isn't hard to get this mic working beautifully. It is me. It's me. It's not my gear. It's me with no idea. Oh yes, a nurse. I had a bit of a did a bit of a thing on the phone with. I think she's called Sally. Yeah, she's called Sally. I haven't met her. I've only heard her. And I've seen her down the corridor at my GP's, so I've not done a face-to-face, but she's our local you know, she's very much have your flu jab, have your shot, have your vax, have your COVID shot. You know, she's very, you know, hey, she's doing a job, and I respect that, and it can't be an easy job and whatever. But as I will find out tomorrow, we at Guy's renal clinic, at the kidney clinic, we have a colossus, you know, a real leviathan, gargantuan, and I believe every hospital has one of these. Every dispensary, surgery, practice, hospital does have a G unit, you know, a proper unit, a proper SU. I know Americans like Karen, but I'll go for a SU. And they're often beyond morbidly obese, you know, their body fat's up in the high 90s, you know, that they are a lipid, that they are adipose. Sorry, I'm being horrible. They're cellular. They're probably downloadable. A lot of Quaker. They're obviously insulin dependent, diabetic, and they're going to be massively sensitive. And of course, sorry, I'm just thinking of the size of the calf cankle, the glats. Obviously, we know what a glat is. A glat is a glute and a lat that have become one. There's a beautiful harmony when people become Jabba-ish or Jabba-esque. When humans go beyond losing what was once a waistline, and you have to look at them and think, where would your hips be? Where would the pelvis be? And if I was to make an incision, you know, with a garden shovel, a hoe, a rake, where would I have to insert into your body to find your pelvic girdle? You know, is it 48 inches on the left flank or the right? You know, we are talking Hannibal Lecter, you know, /7 Kevin Spacey-esque levels of lard here. Now, every hospital, and like I say, every practice does, and I guarantee anyone, Dougie, I guarantee you will know of or have had a run-in or two with a medical practitioner, you know, a professional nurse, a doctor, you know, and they're saying to you, oh yeah, you know, Doug, you really want to watch it with your blood pressure, you know, or whatever, and they're sitting there like absolutely like a human rhino, warthog, jabber, literally, you know, like where there's no body fat on anyone else, like, you know, a fat index finger, a fat wrist, a fat eye, you know, fat eye, it's got fat eyes, you know, their eyes like that, because they're just like piss holes in the snow, because they're so, you know, like in terms of fat deposition, like, whereas you're right, I've got like, you know, I'm bony, you know, I'm a right state, but you know, just sort of areas of boniness, you know, they're like fat here, you know, fat there. Do you know what I mean? They're fat. Yeah, they're very fat on the elbows, aren't they? Because the tricep goes beyond. It goes, you know. So they're beautiful creatures. But of course, what they do is to then tell a guy like me or a guy like you where we're going wrong. So I had this bird on the phone, and this was probably the same day as I had, you know, Jack, the British gas engineer here, and I was just ordering, unusual for me, you know, ordering more meds, And she was like, Justin. She said, while I've got you on the phone, darling. She goes for the darling. She was going for all the, my love and all that, as they do. That they go for the personal touch. And she goes, that's what she said. She said, we've got a flu shot here with your name on it. That's what she said. Her actual words, verbatim. I went, that's what I think. She's Sue. No, that's it. Sorry, she's Sally, and the one in guise is Sue. My bad. Sorry. So the one I'll see tomorrow, who's in charge of transplants. Well, she's actually in charge of the nurses. She's Sue, and the one down here is Sally. So they're Sue, Sally, Sue. Just fuck hybrid, fat. Whale. Fat's amazing. Donut I know from somewhere. I'm sorry. I'm being really horrible. I'm allowed to, because I've been fat in my life. Really fat. Recently fat. Still fat. Skinny fat. Anyway. But there's fat and then there's jabber. And so I said to her, look, with respect, I said, because they dump the charm offensive. You know this, Dougie, and they then go to just the outright offensive. Because they realise that you're not completely acquiesced, you're not completely cucked, and I'm going to tremble under the weight, the literal weight of the Miss Nursey nurse, at local Dorset, GP practice. Oh yes, let me drop everything I'm doing. Not that I'm a busy guy, but let me come down immediately for my flu vax. I said, look, Sally, I said, and this is my actual words. I said, I really do appreciate this. I do appreciate it, but. I said, let me see my people at Guy's, and just so they tell me where I stand, because the reality is, and I went into Justin mode, really apologetic, just over the phone. I just said, look, I'm doing what my lot at Guy's have said. Their position on the vax for me has been a little bit nebulous. They went from saying absolutely in the first week to then saying no, to then saying we understand your hesitancy, to then saying hold fire. So, and then they've also said things to me like, we don't have much data on your group. That's enough for me just to go, whoa, okay, if you're not confident, me neither. Look, I test myself for what it's worth, not that I'm trying to prove a point, but I test myself for COVID every other day. The knowledge I've got is not, well, the knowledge I've got is adequate. I do understand that, when people go, I've had a test this week, it's kind of like, yeah, you need one every 48 hours really, just have a little wiggle, just because you can be, most people know this by now, Delta variant or not, you can be Mr. Negative, and within the reason I'm saying it is because this was brought to the fore recently by none other than Joe Rogan. It may have been Tim Dillon, but Tim Dillon has got it. I'm kind of done with the conversation. I'm kind of done with it, but I do understand that we are seeing people. In terms of transmissibility with the let's just call it the 19, shall we? Let's just call it the 1-9er rather than even say the word COVID, because it's like I tap out now of the COVID station, because in fact that's really what I wanted. One of the sort of components I wanted to discuss tonight in this stream is the business of fear, and then the fact that. Like I could say to you that I could say, can you? In fact, I've had a lot of toing and froing recently with D-Dog, with Dorian. And he's been sending me loads of shit because he knows I'm down that rabbit hole. And one of the things he said to me, and I kind of said it back to him, was like, is there, or can you think of a time in our lifetimes, you, Doug, me, Dorrit, whoever, our age group, we're all within 10 years of each other, where there's been this much piling on. It's like a bundle at school, isn't it? It's become a sport, it's become a religion, it's become a cult, and it is religious now. You are seeing, and this is related to what the nurse said to me, and I ultimately said, look, I really appreciate your advice. I'm not taking your advice, but I was very polite when I said, look, with the greatest respect, I must listen to not you, little local nursey. I must listen to my people at Guy's, because you know what I was politely trying to convey to this Sally G unit was, you know, she hasn't performed a kidney transplant on me, has she? She hasn't given me high-end, very rare drugs in a very rare drug study, in very unusual circumstances with a spine tumour and you know, a transplant. And I medically speaking fall into an odd category. That's all. That's all. It's nothing more. I don't want to give any more bells and whistles, but the reality is, yes, there aren't hundreds. In fact, I'll be quite honest with you, there aren't dozens. That's what guys have said. We don't have, oh, there's a dozen in Leeds and a dozen in Coventry and a dozen in North and a dozen in Derby and a dozen in Bournemouth and London. No, there's sub 20 of me in this country. That's not like, oh, aren't I cool? But that then is the facts. That those are the facts. There's certainly, they think it could be as low as 10, where someone's had a not even like, but a similar giant cell tumour to mine in terms of aggression and anatomical location where my tumour was, at the same time running into renal failure, dialysis, transplant. It's to quote Guy's and Bournemouth Cardiology and Oxford, if I'm honest, it's what they call this trifecta, this sort of pyramid of like, well, there's your heart attack, and there's your spine tumour, and there's your kidney issue, and you know, oh, look at your platelets, and look at your holistic health, Justin. You've got all these little points, you know, in terms of a pyramid of just wobbly Humpty Dumpty. That's all I'm saying, and that's where, if we're doing a box ticking exercise, the attitude, not just from my own personal GP, but from Guy's, is I've done more than relatively well to go the last 18 months infection free, and I have on my kitchen table now 3 or 4 boxes of the RAT, you know, the rapid antigen test, you know, where you just crack open the bottle, pour in the solution, do 10 times there, do 4 times here, hold it, squeeze it, drip it, 2 dots, wait for the 2 lines. If you get 2 lines, you're fucked. You want 1 line, you know. So I do those COVID tests every other day. It's free, and I keep an eye on it. I'd be surprised if I got it, because of I know where I go and who I see and what I do. Anyway, so the whole thing, what is actually pissing me off now, and I've got to be honest, and this is really the nitty gritty of tonight's conversation, and I mean this, it's actually really upsetting to see at a family level, a friendship level, a colleague level, a societal level, this, you know, I don't want to just say divisiveness, but really we've got vax snobbery, we've got the deniers and the whatever, and yeah, you know, it's the language, it's the inflammatory language, and quite frankly, I make no apologies for saying this, it's fucking disgusting when papers like the Mail, the Telegraph, the Guardian, the WashPo, the Washington, you know, we're talking big American publications, not just USA Today, but you know, the New York Times, the LA Times, the Washington Post, the Huffington Post, big journalists, big papers, and like I said, our boys, Mail, Telegraph, you know, not just the red tops, the stuff, but, and they're using language like, and I quote, vile anti-vaxxers, evil anti-vaxxers, sick anti-vaxxers. I mean, this is what you do. It's actually fascistic. If we're going to be correct about this, I'm not just being like, oh, I'm right. No, I don't want to be right. I don't need to be fucking right. I just need to be conveying this with a fair tongue. And if you look at what fascistic is, and how a government body, an organisation, authoritarian, the little person, and that little person, as I saw today at the petrol station, is what I've always called bottom-up power. And you know this, Dougie. You know that if I said to you, Doug, how would you describe North Korea? You'd say, well, that's definitely top-down power, isn't it? You know that Kim Jong-il and just Kim Jong-un, you know that fucking porcupine, you know that's top-down power, that's really frightening power, where a person can wield the type of power that's so gross, where an entire country, a nation, an entire state is under there. Do you know what I mean? That they are underwater. He's so that's top down. What we're running in the UK now is bottom up, and bottom up is this is where a normal guy like me can give anecdotes about how when I was in the petrol station today, frankly some job's worth prick, and I don't normally say that because everyone needs to earn, everyone needs a job. He says to me, "Oh, your mask, your land," So what we're seeing is a division, and it is intentional. It is intentional, where families are torn asunder. We are talking shorn apart here. We're talking relationships. I know husband and wives. I've got two couples, two friends that I know, not my American lot, but English lot, where one here in Bournemouth, one here in Essex, I shit you not, where one, I don't need to specify if it's the husband or the wife, but believe me when I say, of the partnership of a married couple, that union, one of them pressured the other one into getting the shot. Because this is something I discussed with Dorian. It's not a vaccine. And I know I'm not the only one saying this. This is, Rogan's been saying it. I know I quote Joe a lot. But if we're going to be accurate with our words and they want to play semantics, let's do that then. Because it's a gene therapy. It's a gene therapy. It's a therapeutic treatment. And that's not a vaccine. A vaccine, mumps, measles, whatever, goosebumps, goosebumps, chicken pox, polio, all these, those traditional, the vaccine in the obvious sense, the sort of conventional, that's the word I'm looking for, the conventional form of being, if one is vaccinated, you are, to my understanding, as a layman, I'm not medically qualified, is you receive, the recipient receives a sliver, a version, a diluted, scaled down version of the thing that could make you sick, and then your body goes, oh, I've had a dose of this bad thing. I know I'm baby talking this, but this is pretty accurate, I think. I'm not saying, I'm 100% right, but I'm probably 99% sure of what I'm saying now. When you receive a synthetically engineered, this is where people are very clever, who work in labs, petri dishes and mass spectrometers, etc., and are able to give you a dose of what it is that you're trying to avoid, and your body makes a version of that and fights it off and fends it off, and your immune system increases, improves and enhances it and bats it away. That's a vaccine, right? That's what most of us know a vaccine to be, is that, as I've just described, your body is then able to generate its version to just, leg before wicket, cricket, bat it away. The mRNA, I'm blanking on the, oh no, that is embarrassing. Oh God, I should be able to reel off the acronym, what each letter stands for, and I'm blanking. Bugger. Show yourself up, Justin. Anyway, I have genuinely blanked. Hey Google, what does mRNA stand for?
According to Wikipedia, in molecular biology, messenger ribonucleic acid is a single-stranded molecule of RNA that corresponds to the genetic sequence of a gene and is read by a ribosome in the process of synthesizing a protein.
Good old Googs. Hey Google, what's my name?
Your name is Jew.
I love you, Google. Hey Google, I love you.
That's so amazing to hear. Hey, do you want to celebrate?
Of course, yes please.
Awesome. How do you want to celebrate? With a compliment or a joke?
I want you to give me a compliment.
Here's a compliment in celebration. If I could travel through all of time and space, I'd still want to come hang out with you.
Hey Google, that's really disgusting, but thank you very much.
I didn't mean to gross you out. Sorry.
Hey Google, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That's humor.
I don't know, but I found these results on search.
Hey Google, my bad. You're a fucking robot. Okay, so I actually feel like I've offended her. You know, I'm sorry.
I don't know, but I found these results on search.
Okay. That's okay. Google, I still love you. Thank you. Okay, so I was going to say magnetic.
This came back from a search.
Oh god, they're all kicking off like magnetic resonance imagery. That's MRI. But anyway, all I'm saying is, it's. All I'm saying is, Justin. Sorry. Yeah, all I'm saying is that this whole thing, I wanted to stop. Because it's not about anymore the thing, the shot, I suppose it is, but what is so disturbing and so troubling, and this is why I put tonight about the business of fear. And it is a business. It is a business. Can anyone watching this, I know I don't get many eyes, I've got a lot to learn. Sometimes it feels like an almost unsurmountable task that, oh, what, you want to be a YouTuber? Yeah, ask every primary and junior school kid, because they do, and they'll probably get there before you do, Jay. Whatever, I enjoy it. The thing is, I don't like the divisiveness, the duplicitous behaviour, the demagoguery, the dogma-driven, this splitting. Do you know what I mean? It's almost at an atomic level, isn't it? Because it's, like I mentioned, husband and wives, I know, where one half of a married couple, for whatever reason, has been pressured, fairly or unfairly. I wasn't there, I wasn't a fly on the wall, I've only been told by my mates who are married, where their other halves have said to them, you're the man of the house, you're the husband, you're the you better get the vax, you better get the shot, and they do, and then the wife didn't get it. Make of that what you will. Oh, Justin, you're a misogynist. No, I'm not misogynist. I'm a misanthrope. I hate all humans, not just women. But seriously, all jokes aside, it's the business of fear. I mean, look, hell, let's make a rough segue into Afghanistan then, shall we? Goodness me, Jocko Willink, brilliant. Did a great "If I Was President" speech. Extreme ownership. Own it. Unfortunately, we are living in a time. I won't go too much longer because that's 50 minutes, and these are essentially monologues. So, I like to keep it under an hour because no one's going to listen to me. This is the mistake I made in the past, was coming on here and doing 2 hours of just like whap. But look, I just wanted to say that, for goodness sake, it is now or never. If we don't, and I am stating the obvious. There's nothing I'm saying that's like, oh, Justin, that was revolutionary. We never knew that. I'm not here to try and drop something that's so devastatingly new and radical that you're like, oh my God, Justin's got a unique perspective on this, and no one else is saying that in this space. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is in plain sight, I believe there's a lot of people who are incentivized to keep this up, to keep this going, to keep it cyclical, to keep the plates spinning. It is there's narcissism at play, there's huge hubris, which is narcissism, ego, money, reward. In fact, I liken this. Is it not? Hey, here's a take, and I'll bugger off. Is this not the military-industrial complex, but the public health complex, the pharma complex? Do you know what I mean? So when we saw the late great Dwight D. Eisenhower in his farewell address as president, that iconic footage of Dwight saying to, dear Americans, my fellow Americans, standing down as president, this is a huge thing. Beware the military-industrial complex, the corridors of power, that nameless, faceless, pen-pushing, literal script writers with a nasty narrative will push their agenda. These are political ideologues. These are dogma-driven, demagogue-loving, LARPing, live-action role-playing freaks. These are people who are literally hell-bent on winning at any and all odds, pushing their agenda through, crossing the finish line any way, anyhow, any time. And I find it deeply, deeply disturbing. That's it. I'm failing at 53 minutes in nearly. All I can say in closing is that I've enjoyed this. I may even watch this one back. You know my rules. I can't stand watching these back, just looking at my mug and listening to me. But I need to improve, so maybe I need to watch a few. I deliberately not watched these back because I'm like, Justin, you sound awful. But hey, I need to hone my craft. I need to get better at this shit. So maybe I should watch it back. But look, I can sound Jerry Springer now. Love yourselves and each other. But seriously, what more can you do? Because stay well, stay healthy, stay out of harm's way. Don't be daft. All well and good. I mean that is. That's it. I'm going to go. There goes the heavy eye, the long blink. Dougie, nice to see you, and thank you for joining. And I hope to see you all again soon. Just literally, I at the risk of labouring the point a bit too much, I really am literally sitting here thinking, how can I be more sincere when I as eloquently as I can bloody convey this. And that is to say, beware the censorious technocracy, technocrats, beware. Be mindful of this and just, we're seeing misinformation and misguided and miss and dis being confused, and don't fall out, man. Don't fall out with yourselves, don't fall out with each other, don't fall out with your loved ones and your mates over this. Don't when you start whapping your life, and I personally have taken WAP not for the meaning perpetuated by Cardi B, but I personally choose to switcheroo the acronym WAP and make it stand for weaponized and politicized. So don't WAP your life, all right? There you go. House says, Frankie says, don't WAP your life. Yeah, please don't WAP your life. Don't, you know, this is not a team sport. Like I say, it's not a religion. It should never have gone to this point. Someone's making a lot of money. It's just wrong all day long, wrong. All right, guys, thank you for being here. I'm going to go. I am Justin House. You have been watching the TrueHouse stream, episode 4. Whoops, a daisy. Episode wake up 403. That's it. But that's my. Yeah, this is where, like I say, you do see the long blink. Didn't he do well? Yeah. Look, it's essentially just me monologuing, but with annoying hand waving. I will watch this back. It's my issue to overcome. I'm the one with the heavy dose of self-hate. I'm the one that's going to watch this particular episode back because I feel like it's been not too disjointed. I wouldn't say smooth, but yeah. I'm no children's TV presenter, jazz hands. It is essentially a monologue. You know it's scriptless. You know there's no edit here. Yeah, like I say, just please, for heaven's sake, don't. You know, it's not even about, oh, I believe this theory or that theory. Do you, but don't, for God's sake, don't fall out with your, if your parents are alive, don't fall out with your parents. Don't fall out with your better half, your other half, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, children. Don't give in to anyone. I mean, I really fucking mean this. If anyone sees this, I feel like such a goon, like, oh, Justin's trying to give a message now, like some fucking PSA, some public service announcement, what a prick. But I actually mean this, I actually mean it. You know, don't fall out with your dog or your cat, man. Don't fall out with people over this shite. Don't do finger pointing and chest prodding and finger waggling, and don't, you're not an apostle, you know, you don't evangelize this. This is not evangelical, you know, you're not a preacher. Don't go out like the great COVID warrior you are and be like, I'm going to slay everyone that's not vaccinated, they're filthy. Stop that shit, all right? Stop that shit. Just be a bit more compassionate. I know I say that I don't swear, but sometimes it's called for. And I'm going to say it again, right? Don't be a cunt about this. Don't be a COVID cunt, all right? There you go. I mean it. Don't. You'd never have caught me talking like this 5-10 years ago, but, you know, I don't care how this comes across, but I am really fucking grateful for my relative wellness, my relative health. Yeah, like really fucking grateful. Like going to the gym today and having a good session and not being in pain. And yeah, I'm lifting 5 kilo dumbbells and I'm doing it. It felt good. It felt good, man. So look, don't be a COVID prick. Don't fall out of your missus or your other half or your family and ostracize people and alienate people and belittle people and insult people and talk to them like they're something you bought in on the sole of your shoe. Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. Because literally, guys, I'm not being funny, 18 months ago, none of us were none the wiser. You know, everyone's a water cooler expert, aren't they? Everyone, you know, it's called what is it, an armchair quarterback, you know, you pontificate. I mean, I'm doing it to an extent, aren't I? You know, but don't, I really mean this, I really mean this. It's not cool. We're never going to get out of this slump if you're like, yeah, look at these people should die. They don't just, I've actually read that. I've read that on Twitter. I've actually read, I mean, this is actually really sick. Oh, it's a big old fly. I've actually seen stranger talk to stranger saying, hope you die, you know, unironically saying that, die. I mean, this is fascistic. That is how the Waffen SS played it, how the brown shirts played it. Yeah, are we going to start doing this? Are we going to start doing that? I mean, seriously, watch yourselves, check yourselves. Seriously, fucking check yourself. Don't do it. It was only 70 years ago, guys. Only 70 years ago. All right. Only 70 years ago, we really fucked this up proper. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. And amnesia is no excuse. Oh, I forgot history. I've erased, you know, because that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a systematic erasing of history. We're seeing the bloody media. There's the blood, I gotta say. Oh, and by the way, the top tip, before I go, top tip, do watch Adam Curtis's Bitter Lake. I stuck it on Twitter, I stuck it on Instagram, I stuck it on something else, and some other social, I don't know. But Bitter Lake, okay, made in 2015. There's a wonderful, extremely talented English documentary maker called Adam Curtis. If you want to see Russell Brand, yes, I've got a crush on Russell Brand. Look, when I say I've got a crush on Russell Brand, what that actually means is I'm a huge admirer on what leaves Russell's mouth. If you actually watch Under the Skin, the Luminary podcast, you know, you actually watch Russell Brand. Essentially, I've lived in Grays, all right. I know Grays, all right. A Grays Essex comedian. I lived in Tilbury and Grays, so I can talk from experience. I like Russell a great deal, and he interviewed Adam Curtis, and Adam Curtis made The Century of the Self and Bitter Lake. If anyone wants to know even a modicum about Afghanistan, if you have even a moderate interest in Afghanistan or feel you don't understand what's occurring in Afghanistan and why the Forever Wars are called the Forever Wars and why it will not stop, and understand that ending a war is not leaving a war, and understand that this is exactly, I'm not going to start about hawks and neocons, but military industrial complex types in Washington and in London. Absolutely they want us to go back. Of course they want us to go back, of course. But if you watch Bitter Lake and you understand what actually happened in 1946 in the Helmand province, with Saudi and the Suez Canal and Abdul Aziz, and the late Theodore Roosevelt, and what was actually decided over oil and opium, with Wahhabism, okay. So forget ISIS, forget Al Qaeda. We're talking the proper Taliban, back the tribes going back thousands of years. Anyone who's foolish, and look, I'm not an expert, I've just watched a few documentaries, anyone who is naive enough to think that, oh, it's okay, we did 20 years, we're going to go, no, you've just got another generation of Taliban and another generation of Taliban. You know, it's not just bad intelligence, this is just, in fact, even comparing it to Saigon and Vietnam and Cambodia, I think is a mistake. I think this is a different beast entirely. This is why it's called Bitter Lake. Watch Bitter Lake. It's on BBC iPlayer. It's on YouTube. A couple of hours long. Download it. The recent retina scan dump. If anyone listening to this wants to really shit their pants, and to see US and UK soldiers doing voluntary, held at gunpoint, Taliban retina scanning. We're talking our guys, our British soldiers on film, with American soldiers on film, with Adam Curtis's camera, his film crew, actually going into villages and doing retina scans on everyone, whether they're Afghanis, whether they're Taliban, or whether they're allies of ours. And now you look at the recent huge data dump last week, where there's not just thousands, we're talking tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of people that are going to have their actual retina scan in the hands of the Taliban. So imagine that, if you will. If you want to know the true meaning of fear, let's just say you were being interviewed by the Taliban, they're in your village, they're at your door, and they're like, did you help the US forces? And you're like, no mate. And they're like, well, sorry, you did, because we've got the retina scan data here, John, right? You're done for. Boom, done. And that's not me. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not being sensational. Justin's being all hype. I'm not. This is a fact. This is a fact. If you want to see Sargar and Jetty and Crystal Ball, two people that are breaking points, previously The Rising, on the Hill, because I watch channels that aren't BBC, Fox, CNN, I refuse to allow that toxic shit into my mind. I rather watch news channels where they're not paid by advertising backers, and if we're quite honest, drug money. Yeah, just watch Bitter Lake. Just watch Bitter Lake. Understand what happened from 1946 to now. Understand what happened from 1929, from the Wall Street crash, to 46, through the war, and the arrangement that was made with Abdulaziz, the modern version of Wahhabism, and why this will never actually go away, nor can it, because both sides benefit, both sides make money. So anyway, on that slightly negative note, sorry. Yeah, I just feel quite strongly about it. Again, whether we're talking COVID or Afghanistan, and that's really the sort of overarching topic of tonight, is fear. It is fear driven. This is not, even Brexit was driven by fear, wasn't it? Let's not bullshit ourselves. At the very least, don't bullshit yourselves. Just understand it. I'm not trying to be sensationalist. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm trying to be accurate. I'm not trying to be, oh, Justin's doing scaremongering. No, I'm just trying to be truthful. Okay? It is blood. It is. You look at your screen and go, oh fuck. That's business. That's business. That's business. That's the news business. Because there'd be no news if you turned on your screen and it went, all is well. Brexit is sorted. COVID going down. Afghanistan, they're all out. But it's fucking it, isn't it? Oh, we're cool, right? So this is, understand something very, very, very simple and intrinsic and instinctive and very obvious. This is going to go on. This is going to go on. For Biden's administration to have something to do, they had to do a radical departure from the previous one, didn't they? They had to, although fundamentally those fundamentals don't change, so that their policy, on foreign relations warfare won't change, funnily enough. Anyway, that's for another night. So look, I've done over an hour. I should have stopped 8 minutes ago. Dougie, love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for just the eyes. Thank you for the dropping in. I do feel better tonight than I have the last few days. So yeah, okay, big love. I'm going to go. I'll be back tomorrow night after the hospital, and hopefully I'll have some funky shit to say. Okay, big love. Thank you. Good night.